So I'm gonna loosen this now so that I can put my coupler, which is just a 60 millimeter diameter piece of PVC from the plumbing department at the hardware store. So that I can continue to press this bushing in. I think the last time that I installed this bushing, I know I didn't have that coupler, and I think all I had was this wooden block and all these washers. And so I stopped about right here with the bushing about, I guess it's about 5 millimeters out. So it's not really in all the way, which I think is what I did last time, and I think that's the reason why this time when I cut with the coping saw, the old bushing just popped right out because it wasn't really pressed in all the way. But this time I'm going to try with my PVC coupler, which I think it's for 1.5 inch. It's for 1.5 inch ID plumbing. Yeah, so the bushing is just now flush with this side, so I'm going to need a coupler that's got the diameter of the metal and allows the rubber to go through. So I think this side I leave the same way, and I'm going to put the coupler on that side and see if I can press it in a little bit. Let's go. Yeah, so this is just a piece of just a very inexpensive, PVC coupler. Might be for 2-inch ID, I can't remember, but I remember it was only about 98 cents or something like that. And this coupler is going to fit in my plan here. It's going to fit on the metal. It's going to ride on the metal and allow me to continue pressing the bushing. Oh boy, this requires 3 hands, is what it is. I think this might be all I need. This is about the time I usually will drop something and then spend 15 minutes finding it. But not this time. So yeah, I just gotta tighten this all up and keep it aligned. Which I think might be the hard part. Might be the Achilles heel of this, is keeping it all aligned. Because I'm going to have a lot of pressure on this once this engages, and I think it's going to want to try to slip. But I think if I keep it all centered up, it might just be the right diameters to work, which would be great. If not, I'll find something else that will work. So this goes here, and this, let me just make sure is set to Tighten. Planet Tighten. And then just gingerly tighten it up and hope that it doesn't slip off. It may slip off abruptly. Yeah, it feels like it's slipping a little bit. Yeah, it's not going on straight. I don't think it's going to work the way I'm using it. no, it's not going to work. So yeah, I might need something that's even larger inner diameter than this PVC coupler. The other thing that's worried me a little bit about the PVC coupler is that it's not really very thick and it's not very strong. So it's going to have a tendency to deform, and it's probably going to, it could crack. But I'll try it again. So let me set that on tighten and see if I can keep this coupler aligned. Yeah, it's wanting to twist a little bit. Usually hitting stuff with a hammer is pretty pointless. Yeah, it's already starting to bend. Yeah, it's pulling way off. I don't think this could possibly work. It's just not offering any press. No, it's just bending. So I think my PVC idea is lame. I'm probably going to need something thicker, or maybe something made out of metal, or a different approach, which I'm going to have to figure out. Part of the fun. So I'll remove this and look at it from a few angles and see what I can figure out. Well, all I could really think to do is try again with this this plastic coupler, but put a piece of wood on the back end of it and see if I can get lucky without breaking the plastic coupler. Get this bushing to go in another couple of millimeters and I'll be done. I don't really think it's going to work. Oh, it just popped in a little bit farther. Okay, now I hear my wood cracking, but the bushing popped in another couple of millimeters, so I'm going to loosen it and see what we got. Because maybe that last couple of millimeters forward motion was all I needed. Let's see. This is definitely a bit of a Rube Goldberg press. And I can see I broke my wood a little bit. But it looks like I more or less got it in. A little bit more on the bottom, not as much on the top. That needs to go in a little bit farther. Well, I pressed on it and got it to go in another half a millimeter or a millimeter. So it is a little bit asymmetric. You can see there's a little bit more sticking out on this side than there is on this side. But that's as far as I can get it to go in. So it's not really fully seated. But I can't get it to go any farther in. I bent me washer. I cracked me wooden block. I don't think I'm going to make any more progress. So I think I'm going to call it good. Hard job. Probably going to need to get me a better tool for the next time I do this job. And then I still got this job to do, because this is totally cracked, and it is it needs to be replaced. So I'm going to put the arm back on so that the car is drivable, and I'm going to go on a hunt for a new one of these, the rear upper torque arm bushing. So now I'm going to reinstall the steady arm or torque arm back over my new bushing and over my old bushing that's cracked. I did find out that I can get a new one of those, and I'm going to order that and put it on later when it comes in. But for now I'm just going to put this back together so that I can use the car. So it just goes like that. And I've got the bolts. The longer one, I think, goes through here and gets tightened like that. And the shorter one, this is a 70 millimeter, the shorter one. The longer one is 85 millimeters. And the reason I even looked up the length of them is because you're supposed to torque these to 35 Newton meters, which is 26 foot-pounds, and then torque them an additional rotational amount, which I think is 60 degrees for the front and 90 degrees for the rear, according to the Haynes manual. So they're torque to yield bolts, and you're not supposed to reuse those because they stretch the first time you tighten them, and they get weakened if you keep trying to reuse them. So I'm going to order some more bolts, or go find some more bolts, so that when I replace this mount, this rear mount, when I get the part, I will use new bolts that haven't been torqued to yield, and then I'll be good to go. So I got my torque wrench, but of course I don't have the proper 14 millimeter socket, so I'm going to have to go get that. And I will tighten this up and torque it to 26 foot-pounds for now. So that the car holds together this week. It doesn't just work its way loose. And And I don't know, I can't remember, I think that one's also 14 millimeter. Yeah. Yeah. Probably should have suspected this before I ever took it apart, because now that I know it's broken and I move it at the rear, I can see that it twists at the rear pretty easily. But of course, you know, hindsight is always clearer. Anyway, I'll go get the 3/8 inch drive 14 millimeter socket and torque these nuts to the proper value, 26 foot-pounds. So I got my torque wrench, and it's set to 26 foot-pounds. So I'll just hold this rear nut steady, and then I'll oh, now what made me think this was 14? Yeah, that's a lot smaller. Yeah, I think that's more like a 13. The rear one is 14, so I will tighten that one up while holding this upper nut steady, and then I'll have to go and get a I'll have to go and get a 13 millimeter. I should just brought my whole set of sockets out. This is a 6-point socket, so sometimes you gotta. There, okay. You gotta rotate these 6-point sockets so that they can fit in a tight spot. So that one on the rear is tight, and now I gotta still tighten up this front one to 26 foot-pounds. Okay, I got my a good old 13 millimeter socket that I've had since when I first started working on cars. Oh, so many years ago. Not that long ago. Probably would have been 20 years ago, or is it 30? Can't remember. Anyway, I'll just torque it up. Ah, click. That's it. So that's tight. So, like I said, I'm going to have to do it over again. But got me a new bushing here, and I'm going to order a new bushing there, and I'll get new bolts. But that is how you struggle through DIY driveway upper torque arm bushing replacement on a Volvo 850. Ouch.